Hey guys, Pedro here to do an album review, and today is Breaking Benjamin's Ember. It came out today, Friday the 13th, and this is their sixth studio album. I was really looking forward to this album since I heard the first single, Red Cold River. That song was really heavy, and it was really groovy, and I really enjoyed that song. And it was really the catalyst that really got me excited and really made me look forward to what this new release was going to be. I started wondering, were they going to go in a more heavier direction, or is that going to be the one-off song in the album that tends to be heavy with harsh vocals, but the rest of the album is a little bit more soft and more mellow? So it answered some questions, that song, but it created more questions than it answers as far as the album was concerned. So I was really looking forward to sitting down and listening to the whole album. And to me, as a fan of Breaking Benjamin, as you can see from the shirt I'm wearing, I was not disappointed. This album, right off the bat, has 12 tracks, 38 minutes, and that to me was a little strange. How can an album have 12 tracks and only be 38 minutes in length? Then I realized that it has two instrumental tracks, an intro and an outro. The intro is Lyra, it's about 30 seconds in length, and then the outro is Vega with about a minute and 20 seconds. So once you remove that intro and that outro, those two instrumental tracks, out of the equation, you're really left with 10 Breaking Benjamin songs. Now in those 10 songs, you really have two worlds colliding. You have a much heavier side of Breaking Benjamin, perhaps a heavy side of Breaking Benjamin that we haven't seen up until now, and then you have still a softer side. There are some songs that mix those two worlds. There are soft in parts, but heavy in others. So I really find that this album has that dynamic of giving you heavier songs, softer songs, and then sprinkling between those heavier and softer songs a little bit of both, songs that combine both. One of the things that I really enjoyed about this album was those heavier songs, but even those ones that are a hybrid, if you will, that employ harsh vocals. The harsh vocals are not used at random, or are not used, like overly used, just to make the song heavy. To me, the vibe that I got from the whole album was that the harsh vocals in this album were used like a condiment. If there's not enough of it, it's bland, and if there's too much of it, then it doesn't taste good. So I found this album to be that perfect blend. It had enough of harsh vocals in the right spots, either in the choruses and the intros and the outros, whatever the situation called for. It just had enough of those harsh vocals in those songs to make the songs a little heavier, because the instruments and the music was already heavy on its own, but just to give it a little bit of more extra heaviness. And they didn't go over the top. I really like the way they use it in some songs where it's almost like backup vocals. They used almost the harsh vocals as a backup vocals to the clean vocals of the track. So I really like that. I really like the way they use the harsh vocals and not overly used it. Because to me, there's always a concern when a band tries to put out a heavier album that they're gonna go too heavy, or they're gonna go and start using too many harsh vocals, and it kills the dynamic of the songs, and it really kills what the blueprint of the band is. And if there's one thing that you will notice the moment you start listening to this album, is that this is a Breaking Benjamin album. It has their fingerprints all over. Once you start listening, you recognize some of the style, some of the way they compose their songs, and it's their music. So the harsh vocals was just like a condiment to make some songs a little bit heavier, and other songs to give it a little bit more texture. So they used it sporadically, but they used it well, and still keeping in line with what has become Breaking Benjamin. And I really applaud them, and I really like that. Now, another thing I have to say is Ben's vocals. Ben's vocals in this album are incredible. I honestly, incredible. I really enjoy his vocals. The tone of his voice and the range in his voice. He's able to use his voice as another instrument, as a vocalist should. To me, right now, in the bands that I listen to that are more radio friendly, if you will, he has one of my favorite. He's one of my favorite vocalists. I honestly enjoy listening to him. I really enjoy his voice. I enjoy his delivery, and I enjoy the passion that he puts into each song. When he's singing the song, it really feels like it's coming from a deep place within him. And when a singer is able to deliver that to his audience, it really allows for the audience to connect with him. because a lot of the lyrics of the songs we can all relate to, but if it feels like it's not coming from the right place, it's hard for a listener to connect with it. And this album, I really feel, he does this in every album, but in this album, his vocals were extremely good. And I really felt in certain songs a deeper connection with him, because the way he was singing the song, the way he was delivering those lyrics, really made me feel like they were coming from that deep place from within. And that to me is extremely important. I really pay a lot of attention to the lyrics in the songs, and I really care about what the message is, not just the music that surrounds it. Another thing I have to mention about this album that kind of threw me for a loop is Derek Hough. I don't know if you guys know who Derek Hough is, but he's one of the dancers in Dancing with the Stars, and he sings vocals in one of the songs, The Dark of You. It's one of the softer songs. I think it's the softer song in the album. It's almost a ballad, if you will. And that threw me for a loop. When I saw Derek Hough's name there, I was like, this name is familiar to me, but I don't recognize the name from being in a band. I'm like, this guy's not in Five Finger Death Punch or anything like that. Like, who's this guy? The name is super familiar, but I just couldn't figure it out. And then I went on Google and I realized, oh damn, this is the guy from Dancing with the Stars. Now, if the idea was to think outside the box when they made this song, not only they thought outside the box, they thought outside of their area code. I mean, they really went out to left field on this one. Having said that, the song actually works. The vocals actually work. The song is actually, for a ballad, for what it is, it's actually very enjoyable and very good. I almost put this song in my top 3 because I really enjoyed this song. So for as out to left field as it might seem at first glance, considering who they picked to be singing vocals on this song, guest vocal appearance on this song, it really worked, and that really surprised me. It just goes to show that these guys are now willing to take those kind of risks and take those kind of gambles. And normally when you're that talented, you always know what you're doing and things really pay off in the end. Now, as far as my favorite songs of this album, it was hard to put down 3. One for me, I had to put on, I knew immediately that song was going to be on, and that was Red Cold River. The other 2 was a little bit harder because there were a lot of songs that I really enjoyed in the album, and it was really hard to narrow it down to 3. But Red Cold River was the first single. It's one of the heaviest songs of the album, if not the heaviest song of the album, but it's also the one that has some of the catchiest chorus that you will find throughout the whole album. It's almost impossible to not sing along to Red Cold River, especially when the harsh vocals kick in at that time of the chorus. The melody, the guitar melody in the chorus is also beautiful. It adds the contrast, but it also adds a lot of darkness to what the message is. His harsh vocals with the melody almost becomes haunting together. It becomes very dark and ominous, and I really like it. It just adds this dark vibe to it, but super heavy at the same time. And the guitar play throughout and the drumming throughout is really exceptional. It's one of my favorite. It's not one. It is my favorite song of the album. Another song that I really liked was Down. It kind of reminded me of Failure in some ways. It had a lot of similarities to Failure. It's one of the softer songs, not the softest, but it's one of the softer songs. But it still has that condiment that I mentioned earlier, those harsh vocals sprinkled in here and in there throughout the song, just to give the song the life that it needs at certain points so it doesn't become bland. And this is what I meant. This song is the perfect example of what I meant about using harsh vocals almost as a condiment throughout the whole album, just so that the songs don't become too predictable and too bland. It really gives that extra life that it needs. Another one of my favorite songs is Blood. It's another one of those heavier songs of the album. I would say with Red Cold River, Blood is probably the 2 heavier songs of the album. I really like this song. This song is just really well structured, really well put together, and it's one of those. It's one of those songs that is heavy, has heavy guitar riffs, heavy drumming, has heavy vocals when it needs to be. Those harsh vocals come in when they need to be. There's no song that has harsh vocals all the way through. They're predominantly clean vocals, like I said, with harsh vocals sprinkled in at the right times. But this one has another super catchy choruses, and and the hook in the chorus really gets you. And I think it's one of those songs that once you start listening to the album, this song is going to get stuck in your brain, and you're going to be singing this song over and over again, because it does have a very cool hook in the chorus that really will catch you and will not let you go. It's really one of those. It's really one of those tracks, and I expect that either Blood or Down will probably be some of their next videos, because I really found these three songs that I mentioned, I really found these three songs to be the spinal cord of the album, that really give you a little bit of what this album is all about. You have the heavier song in Red Cold River, you have a little bit of the more mellow song in Down, and then you have Blood, which is almost a hybrid of the two, but still one of the hybrid of the two, but on the heavier side. So this is it. This is Ember from Breaking Benjamin. I'm really looking forward to your guys' comments in the comment section below. Please let me know what your thoughts are on Ember. What's your thoughts on Breaking Benjamin? Did you guys like this album? Is this a much heavier album the way I see it, or you guys didn't like it? I really am interested in seeing what the comments will be and responding to those comments. So please let me know in the comment section below, what are your thoughts on Ember from Breaking Benjamin, out today. See you guys.